Okay, I just saw you playing out there and you look real good. Who are you?
Well, you know, I'm Mrs. Gankisa. I'm the best footballer point ever see.
Oh, really? You you know any of the older players who play here in Point?
Well, I know Warren Archibald, Leroy Dillion.
Stop. You know me? Boy, I was the best striker, the best forward that this country ever seen.
Oh, Wilfred K.
Boy, I'm Steve David, boy. Okay, welcome viewers. This is another edition of Field of Dreams on Axe Television Network. My name is Steve David and I'm your host. Tonight we want to talk about, as you know, we talk football and football only. And on November 29th, there's going to be election for the next president of Trinidad and Tobago Football Association. And my guest today, special guest, good friend, comrade, and everything else, you can put the words to his name. Tonight we want to talk to Selby Brown, who is a president candidate for the new president of Trinidad and Tobago football. And Selby, welcome to Field of Dreams.
Thank you, Steve. And a pleasure to be on the set.
Of course. And also to my left, I've got Narada Wilson. And Narada is here to support and to tell us his bits and pieces whenever we can. And tonight, Narada, we're not going to have much to say because Selby, this is Selby's turn. So, Selby floor, so welcome.
Yes, it was a pleasure to be here again, and let's see what we could get out of the presidential candidate.
Right. Selby, buddy, tell us why you think you deserve this job and what you're going to do to make it different from all the rest of the presidents.
Well, in the first instance, I have had more than 5 decades experience in every aspect of football in Trinidad and Tobago, in the Caribbean and globally. I have pioneered professional football in Trinidad and the Caribbean. I have invested in the business of football, and I have developed a wealth of experience, knowledge, and resources available from those who respect me throughout the CONCACAF, throughout Europe, throughout Asia, throughout Africa, for my principled stand and being forthright about taking a position against corruption in football. And I receive calls from all around the world, and I would share with you the fact that those who have stayed out or withdrawn their resources from world football are prepared to come back in now. That FIFA is being sanitized from headquarters in Zurich, throughout the confederations, and throughout the associations. I will bring with me those resources, one. Two, my vast knowledge, experience, and my vision to refocus Trinidad and Tobago football to where it has been hijacked from and put it right back to where the emphasis must be, which is the major asset of the Football Federation or the Football Association, and that asset is the footballers. Nobody knows your football. Nobody cares who is running your football unless you are successful on the field of play. And I'll give you two examples. My good friend, who appointed me at one time his ambassador in his elections to become president of FIFA back in 2002, Issa Hayatou of the Cameroon, FIFA, the most senior vice president of FIFA today. Issa, when I first saw him and met him after the match in 1990 at the World Cup in Italy, in Naples, I attended the match Cameroon versus England. It is the first time in the history of football that I have seen the losing team, Cameroon, make 3 laps of honor to a standing public, applauding them as they go around. And you know what that national team did? The outstanding player and captain, I think at the time, was Roger Miller, who danced on the corner flag.
Right.
When the team made their laps, they came to the officials' position on the stand, looked up, and kept applauding. And then Issa Hayatou, in his flowing white robes, stood. That was a team saying thank you to its president for what you have done to bring us to this point in World Cup. And I trust you are happy with my performance.
And you look forward to making
That is what must be clear. And that's it.
I hear you.
Yes, that's the primary factor.
Narada, you've seen any thoughts on what the present situation is? And
You know, I respect the presidential candidate for putting the footballers or the product on the front burner. I think it's the asset of football, and I think it's also something that we need to realize is the most important thing. Everything else could come after that, but if you don't take care of your own product, then, you know, everything else could fall apart. My concern would be another point that is very important. Today, football is a business. So as much as we would like to take care of the players, we also need the resources to take care of said players. And what I'm wondering is whether it be because of the allegations that are put forward to some senior officials, whether it be that the team wasn't performing well and is performing well now, what is your nomination bringing in terms of corporate or financial support for the football team? Now, as I have said, you've put your own resources, so you know what it's like to work in football, put in your own resources. And I always tell people the only way you would understand what you're asking the corporate world to do is until you personally have done it. So even if they tell you no, you respect the no because you know why. And if you get yes, you actually respect their funding because you know what it's like to spend your own money. What do you think are some of the strategies that you could use to get, whether it be international funding involved or to get more of our corporate sponsors on board to football? What do you think are your pillars in getting that done?
Well, I'll tell you this. The largest corporate investor, and I don't like the title sponsor,
Fair enough, yeah.
investor, you want people to partner with you for a return on their investment.
Fair enough.
And the largest corporate investor in Trinidad and Tobago is solely the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That's the reality. Corporate Trinidad and Tobago has demonstrated time and time again that they come on board when you have winners. I'll give you a little example. At the last Olympic Games, if our young Keyshawn Walcott, the week before, the day before, going to London, had gone to corporate Trinidad and Tobago to ask for an extra javelin or maybe a pair of spikes, I could only guess what the response would have been. He is no Atto Bolden or Olympic medalist. Yes?
True.
The day after, he threw his javelin and was an Olympic gold medalist. Corporate Trinidad and Tobago was all over his head, his shoulders, and covered him. And the same speed they come on board with is the same speed they disappear with. I am not saying that I am opposed to corporate Trinidad and Tobago, but corporate Trinidad and Tobago plays the smallest role in the operating funds of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Federation. The smallest roles. And they have not viewed their role and function as an investor for returns, but see themselves as the entity that several football association, leagues, clubs, teams, primary schools, colleges, you name it, come falling, tripping over themselves, not to offer a return on investment, but begging for sponsorship. That culture can be reversed based on my vision of how you bring corporate Trinidad on board. And I'll close by saying this, that it is the international resources, those of my friends who invest in football globally, one. It is not about who you know, it's who know, they know you. My friends, yes? From, I can tell you now, Korea, Japan, London, Zurich itself, and North America, who are interested in the new CONCACAF, the new Caribbean Football Union, and the new Trinidad and Tobago Football Association. So this new era will go to what has been the proven, tried in time, and major contributor and investor in football, which is on the global stage, and two, the development funds that would come to Trinidad and Tobago football from FIFA, from CONCACAF, that must be distributed properly through the associations. Those funds will be used to strengthen the associations, the regional association, strengthen the structure of football, because football must be restructured. A new seamless schedule as it relates to how our football program is run. And that new schedule, I can tell you, I'm sharing this with you, one of my first initiatives is introducing technical directors for all associations that would be responsible for identifying the talent, developing the talent from 4 to 40, from 4 years old to 40, strengthening associations and bringing them. And one of the visions that I have is what has worked in the past and will be reintroduced on my meetings with all the associations, these regional associations, to have zonal teams, their regional teams selected, and the primary competition in football in Trinidad and Tobago will be the President's Zonal Cup, which would be played by the zonal or regional teams, Tobago, South, Central, North, and Eastern counties. Pick your team. And when the new board of directors meet, and I'm able to address them for at that first meeting, I will give them a mandate to review the structure of Trinidad and Tobago football schedules, the program, and to come back with their recommendations within 6 weeks.
Selby, before I ask you to lay out your vision, what I'm hearing from you is our main sponsors is really foreigners and not local, because local is just small change,
yes.
As we say, right? And our real efforts should be bringing in outside monies into our football to strengthen our football.
Listen,
and
when in 1990 the CONCACAF presidency and control went to Austin Jack Warner and Chuck Blazer as secretary, we were in Italy at the World Cup. I did a manuscript, and I would show you the first CONCACAF brochure issued in October 1990 that explained to North America what CONCACAF. It's a little black and white brochure, and you will have it on the set. Yes, it's here. Do you know? It is at that time that I propose my role and involvement and the returns to be had from television rights and that structure. My own background has been in media. I have attended all the World Cups from 1986 through 90 to 98, 2002. I bought the Road Cup rights. I have a satellite teleport that is sitting on the Mon in Castries, St. Lucia. It's right there, just as I have vehicles parked up here. I leave it right there. It's used for downlinking now in St. Lucia. And that is the key role, television rights, to how you provide a return on investment for your investors. Now, I told you about the CONCACAF and Chuck because I thank God that they did not respond positively after using my manuscript to print the brochure. They left me out. I thank God for that because today you see where they are and what problems they're in over the said television rights that I had given them the whole cue about. Yes? And that remains the priority for any sort of operating funds, as you have. Television. The Caribbean market is 40 million population, 23 million in the Spanish-speaking countries, 11, 12 million in the French-speaking countries, another 6 million in the English-speaking and the Dutch. We seem to limit ourselves to over 6 million. For whatever reason, I don't know. But corporate Trinidad does not take a role in television returns for the 40 million.
Selby,
Others will do that.
let's take a break. And when we come back, let's talk about, let you roll out your plan, your vision for the presidency, for your new role
Yes.
in the coming years. All right? We'll be right back after a short time.
Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited offers solutions to your immediate and future potential problem areas by providing you with a qualified team of safety consultants. Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited, building a reputation on quality and value since 1999. Located 23 Todd Street, San Fernando, Trinidad. Phone 868-657-1534 or 868-788-6955. worldwidesafety@yahoo.com.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. You're watching Field of Dreams. This is Axe Television Network. Before the break, again, Selby, we were talking a lot about how we're going to make this work for us. What I want you to do now, I want you to talk to our viewers on your rollout, on why you the man for this job, which we all think you are, and what you're going to do to strengthen our association.
Well, in the first instance, let me say that my campaign has been one of going to all the associations and asking for an opportunity to make presentations to them. I am doing it, my campaign, specifically to the delegates that would vote and to the 49 voters who are entitled to elect a president. I am planning to attend all the meetings, the AGMs that are called, because the presidents of the associations would become members of the board. I've been asked why I don't have a slate. And that was rather interesting because that was discussed. When I speak, it is not that I speak off the cuff from what is in my head, but my ideas are first reviewed by my trusted panel. And out of that came the decision that under no circumstances would you offer yourself for presidency, or would the Veterans Football Foundation offer a nomination for president and a slate. It goes against the grain of what is the due process of an election, which you must trust. And I'll give you a football example. So the national coach is going to pick the national team to play against Guatemala on Friday night. And he comes to Kenwin Jones, and he says, Kenwin, I want you to captain the team. And Kenwin says to him, yes, coach, but I have a midfielder in so-so-so, and a goalkeeper in so-so-so, and a defender in so-so-so, and that's my slate. I would hope that they're on the team, and that is how we... Absurd. Mm-hmm. Absurd. When Kenwin Jones is appointed or elected captain of the Trinidad and Tobago team, he works with the team that is selected by the electoral process that they consider to be the best, and he brings his visions, his views to his board, and that entity, he would encourage them to review and join and support their captain, because the vision and the goal is set out for them.
So that's going to be the process.
And that's my process.
Okay.
And it is out of that process that I go into what first of all, I must tell you that the board of directors, which consists of the president of all the football associations and a couple others, and a president and two vice presidents, so The 2 vice presidents are a minority of a whole board. The board is who must run football.
Right.
Yes? So I've gone around, and this are the things, as you've asked there now, of what is specific. One, all the zonal associations must be strengthened. There must be a review of the operation of the National Super League in terms of teams coming out of their zones to play in this one league and being lost to their presence in the community where you would expect the base of support will be built. If you take the best out of that area and you have the rest playing, how would you attract?
Right.
So the best must play in their area, and what I would personally like to see is a return to that zonal competition that would be like the Champions League. So a club does not have to play, a club is not withdrawn from the EPL or the Bundesliga or the other leagues to play in the European Cup. You qualify to so do, and that goes ahead. You know, and those are fun. Listen, we are not reinventing the wheel here in Trinidad. FIFA has 209 members, all in the business of running football. Yes? What wheel is there to reinvent? Let us do what is tried, proven, and works well, and try to have it properly managed. And that's what I'm going to do. Strengthen those associations, strengthen the clubs with technical support, with marketing support, with the actual administration, finance, reporting, and the like. Yes? And more than anything else, with the focus on the football on the field, to return Trinidad and Tobago's football style. How we turn, how we dance. And there are too many footballers who can't dance now. I don't know if Nevada is able to dance, but how you dance, how you turn, how you poise, the Dwight York in you, and a host of different things. Bring it back on the field of play. Long ago, we could look at any match throughout the Caribbean and say, that young man is a Haitian. That is a Surinamese player. That one there is a Martinican. That one is a Trinidadian. Because of your style of play. We have lost that style of play. And there is a role for all the proven past national coaches who are here in Trinidad to come into a technical committee that will service all the associations from baby at 4, coming all through to the stages and coming up. In the zonal area as well, FIFA has a clause that says, if you are not a FIFA registered player, you are not to play with a non-FIFA registered player. Well, I'll tell you something. The football in Trinidad, in the same communities in the zones, have more people playing in their leagues and academies and the like outside of the FIFA control. So the zones, TTFA, through the regional zones, will go out, will have a mandate to go out and embrace all the academies, all the minor league football, all the tournaments that are played, so that you can bring the FIFA technical and the financial resources to develop that football. Then we can truly say the TTFA is the body that runs football in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes? What do we do? The question of insurance for players. Since our pro team, and I had 2 pro teams when we pioneered what is today Trinidad football back in the 70s. The first one was Trinidad and Tobago Pro Pioneers. And my other team with my corporate partner, Kenrick Futzbelko, K&SI in Phoenix, took the team throughout the Caribbean, into South America, into Central America, and into North America. And that all at that time I had insurance coverage for the players and the teams and for the events in which we participated. That insurance company has not disappeared. It was an American insurance company who had a branch, an entity down here called Algico. And for the love of me, I can't understand why that is not in place.
Let me ask you, Norada, you had asked me a question earlier. Why don't you ask Selby? I think it's what.
Okay, so my thing was there are two new associations. Well, not two. One is revamped, one is new, tied into under the TTFA administration, which would be the Trinidad and Tobago Futsal Association and the Trinidad and Tobago Beach Soccer Association. And then there's also some sort of division inside the Trinidad and Tobago Referees Association. Now, not going into too much details as to what could be done, but is there a place for futsal in Trinidad and Tobago football? And on the rise right now is beach soccer. So is there also a place under your, governance for these associations as well?
Most definitely. Futsal and beach soccer, and the beach soccer, they are having a big show in the week in Tobago on this weekend. Young Kyle Likwai, who's doing an excellent job. Kyle. And for the futsal, you have Geoffrey Edwards as president. You have Marlon Morris as Clayton Morris, not Marlon, Clayton, sorry, as coach. You have Memoredi and the boys. I know that entity of football is like new media to television and the normal media. That is what it is. It is the direction. It is short spurs. It is a TV product. It's like T20 to cricket. And I want to tell you, it's here to stay. So their focus is on that. I've already spoken with them. Okay. I've already requested and shared some of my vision. And I'll follow up with other presentations to ask for their support. Because the TTFA has a role and function in ensuring the success of both beach soccer and futsal. There's another one that is close to my heart and very important. In our day, Steve, we never thought we'd see women playing football. But the Women's Football Association, has a high priority as far as I'm concerned. Women's football is here to stay in the world. Those who don't like it, those whose ears were not about it, take a drink of a choice of beverage that you prefer and understand that that's where football is and the future in football. So the TFA, I've asked to meet with the Wolf. I'm going to meet with them on the 24th of November and outline specific plans for women's football. So those have it. As it relates to the Referees Association, the Referees Association, as the Coaches Association, need the technical strengthening and development, the resources to operate on the basis that they must conduct business. We want to have technical development of coaches so that we could get the ratio of coach to players in Trinidad and Tobago down to 1 to 20. And as I talk about 1 to 20 with the ratio of coaches, going back with my marketing hat, I am sure there's no document that exists that would tell you how many associations you have in Trinidad, how many clubs are registered to play football in Trinidad, how many footballers are there in Trinidad and their ages, and it does not exist. If it does not exist, what are you offering to whom? Where is and for that, A research department will be brought on board. Archives would be developed. A museum for Trinidad football will be developed. And I say that against a background where I do not know where Dwight has his first Manchester United jersey. I don't know. Is that of value to a young footballer or a football aspirant in Trinidad, or footballing public coming to visit Trinidad or Tobago? When I say Trinidad, I mean Trinidad and Tobago.
Or a collector?
Yes. Collector's item. Is there a museum where we could go to? This is the business of football. When I ask you, Narada, you do a lot of business in Brazil. When I say Brazil, football, what's the next? I want to see where Pele's home is, eh? Not so?
Yeah.
I don't ask who is the president of Pele Football or if Avalanche is still there or his son-in-law. When I go to Argentina, and you land in Argentina, two names come to you. Football, Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi. Not so?
Yeah.
Do you know Julio Grondona?
For the name, yes.
You know, he was the senior vice president of football, of FIFA, for the past more than quarter century. Others may attempt to make the Caribbean believe otherwise. After Sepp Blatter and during the reign of Avalanche, the most powerful man in football was Julio Grondona. Wealthy man. You ever heard of him when you talk Argentinian football? And that's how it must be.
But
The players.
having said that, what's your marketing strengths? How you market this stuff? How are you going to go
There's
about
a
it?
lot of work. How I'll go, immediately an agency would be brought on board.
Right.
There would be an invitation for an agency. Let me back up. Under no circumstances would my decisions be taken without consultation.
Right.
And I'll give you 3 examples. I would like to ask any of the associations or clubs or footballers if they had any input into the selection of a national coach. Whether they had any input into the selection of a sponsorship partner. If they had any input into the writing of a new constitution. And I ask that to say that is not the way that football must be conducted. No one man runs football. Football has always been a team game. It's not about eye specialists. Leave that to the opticians. Yes? So, the question was, how would I market? I would come to my board and say, these are the priorities as we go forward in getting things done. We must invite marketing, advertising agencies and marketing firms to send us proposals to partner with the TTFA. We outline a vision, we see shortlists, outline a vision, and invite them to do a synopsis, a small proposal that we will evaluate and then return to say who we select. That's the way it is done. The same thing occurs for accounting and auditing. Bring on board immediately an audit of TTFA's operations for the past 2 decades. I hear a lot of talk about the money in football. I have a document that you would see that tells you that football in 2010, 2006, 2010, and 2011, the unaudited statements from the then accountant, Kenny
Before you go
Rampersad.
there, let's take a break and come back and talk about transparency.
Indeed.
All right. We'll be right back, viewers, after this break.
Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited offers solutions to your immediate and future potential problem areas by providing you with a qualified team of safety consultants. Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited, building a reputation on quality and value since 1999. Located 23 Todd Street, San Fernando, Trinidad. Phone 868-657-1534 or 868-788-6955. worldwidesafety@yahoo.com.
So welcome back, viewers. You tuned into Field of Dreams, and this is Axe Television Network. Before the break, we were discussing all the governance that our new president-to-be is going to lay out for us. And before we said we were going to come back and talk about transparency, Selby. And I would give you an opportunity to tell our viewers how you're going to keep this transparent, because we always had problems with that.
Yes, I will talk about transparency because that is the big baby.
Right.
But before that, permit me to talk about the special position that must be given to Tobago as it relates to its governance of football over there.
Okay.
And that they're well structured, and there are some undertakings that I think must be in place that would facilitate Tobago. We have the benefit of a former national coach in Tobago, who is Bertil Sinclair, who I've already met with, as several of other coaches. And you cannot tell me that Bertil Sinclair does not have a role to play in Tobago football and Trinidad football. Or does Dwight York, as you, Steve David, have a role to play in Trinidad football? And I say that against the backdrop of what is my pet baby. Return Trinidad and Tobago football to #1 in the CONCACAF. We were #1 in the CONCACAF in 1974, a mere 12 years after we became an independent nation. The qualifiers for the 74 World Cup held in Haiti, the history is that we were robbed. We scored 5 goals, 4 of which were ruled offside. The Canadian official and the Guatemalan or Costa Rican official, I don't remember offhand. One is Hewlett, I can't remember the names at hand. They were suspended for life in certain cases by the FIFA. What FIFA did not do is rule out the results of the game. The result of the game was retained by FIFA. And that placed us #2 in the CONCACAF. 1 team went from the CONCACAF to the World Cup at that time, and that team was Haiti. In 1990, we placed 3rd in the CONCACAF. 2 teams went, America and Costa Rica. And the 3rd thing was, in 2006, we placed 4th in the CONCACAF. 3.5 teams were going. We had a playoff against Bahrain, and we went to the World Cup. Now, it's only in limbo. When you are lowering the bar, you are doing better. And my mantra is that Trinidad and Tobago football must return to #1 in the CONCACAF and take its rightful place, as it was then. Now, I've already outlined how it's going to be done. And in terms of the technical development, in terms of the restructuring, the refocusing, and the strengthening of the association.
How are we going to keep
Now,
the public?
yes?
How are we going to keep the public to believe in us and to make sure that everything is held on top of the table and transparent?
Indeed. Indeed. That will be brought to bear in three fashions. One, bringing on board immediately an audit panel that can even take the form of a company. Auditing firms would be invited to come on board. Not just the firms, there are firms that exist now with specific operating guidelines in keeping with those that are in place in Zurich at this time. They have now been introduced to Zurich. Yes? That's one. I am saying that that same structure is going to go through the Caribbean and into the confederations as well. That's going to be brought on board. Those who have pilfered from the purse of Trinidad football must be brought to book. A task force must be established to go, an accounting task force, an auditing task force, to review, and who is identified must be brought to book. Now, when you have attractive football being played, when you have gone back to playing Trinidad football and the crowds are coming out, you cannot betray the trust of those paying patrons. And once the crowds are there, the corporate citizen, he will come knocking at the door. How can we be part of this? You must be able to satisfy all that when your monies are put in this pot, it is well guarded, the accounting process is in order, as well as the audit process, and that is key. It can no longer be one man says and one man does, as has transpired in the past. Yes? And that is where we must return. Now, I'll be happy, and I've kept this for last, with your permission, to reinstitute as of December 1, 2015, a national team in training resident in a camp. The facilities exist. I've already identified 2 facilities to discuss. I will I would tell you that that is a proposal that's going to be on the people. When you, in this day and age, consider yourself equal to those at the world level who can pick up a phone and ask 15, 20 lads to come meet us on the field, we'll spend 4 days together, and we'll beat the world, you are fooling yourself. If you prepare well, you would win well. If you fail to prepare, the answer is clear. We must return to Trinidad football. The national team must be kept. You must know who are the national team players. And there are several players who will be invited to make the choice as to whether they are happy playing in Moscow, let's say, with their AirPods on to keep warm and their gloves to train in the morning for X dollars, or take a little less dollars and be happy to train right here, play right here in Trinidad, where we refocus on who are the national players. We market the national players. And the product that is bought on the field is a product only this week. My son sent me a text with Neymar's goal last weekend, where he flicked the ball, where you call cap the man, and volleyed first time. And I said to him, excellent, that's how we played long ago. There was entertainment, there were roars, there were displays of skill, the Warren Archibalds, the Steve Davids, my boy, I love him, Young Burns, Alex nephew, Mark Burns' cousin, Sterney John turning on a pin and hitting first time.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm calling them outside of the Russell Latapes and the Dwight Yorks and the like. Right. We must return to that. That is our football. I don't know what we're playing now, whether that block and they don't score and then ting it and push one ahead. I miss, and we would miss in this World Cup qualifying campaign, the likes of Kevin Molino. Talent, nice, pretty. Entertaining.
And you're absolutely right. Football is supposed to be entertaining.
And
it's like going to
we
the
are
movies
in the
and
entertainment industry. That's our business.
Yes.
You're a footballer, you are an entertainer.
Yes.
And that's what it's about.
So,
yeah?
Norada, any questions for the president to be before he leaves? You have anything?
No, I think he stated, where he stands in terms of his role in office, what his vision would be for the future, dealing from kids as young as 40, because I believe it's a cultural change that has to be made.
Indeed.
All right.
That's it.
I also respect how he's going to get the finances on board, and I believe the product on the field. What I would say is, what is your view on the product that we have today? Because if elected, from the next day, that is what you'll be working with. You can't take the 4-year-old and put him on the national team.
Indeed.
So what would be your view on the
December
product
1.
that we have today?
December 1, I am president. We have a national team participating in World Cup qualifiers. And I am going to immediately ask my board to follow my lead in inviting competent, capable, national coaches, former coaches, to come together on a panel, former players and former technical directors, to work immediately with this national team. My own personal view is there are several players who may be playing all over, Belgium, Bato, and all over, Young Rodolfo, and a host of the guys, who can play far better if the resources and the technical think tank was brought to bear on further improving what we have on the field and play. I know that those fellas are going to play better.
So in saying that, I am to envision on December 1st, the field with all our players, and seeing Abu Bakr, Marshall, maybe a Willis Plaza, surrounded by at least 3 or 4 former players or technical directors, speaking to them on certain things that they could do better.
First with Coach Hart.
Fair enough.
And then with the team of players.
Fair enough.
First with the technical team that's there now.
So I should see 3 years of football probably on the field.
That's who we have.
Fair enough.
To do anything less than that is to shortchange ourselves.
Selby,
It's very simple.
Selby, we have 3 minutes left.
Yes.
I want you to look in the camera and tell Trinidad and Tobago why, or all the associations out there who has a vote of one of the 49, why they should vote you, and why you deserve to be voted, and make a plea so you can be the next president of Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, that is something I don't like doing. That's why I speak to the voters, but I will do it. Okay. Thank you for the invitation.
I appreciate that.
I would do it in terms of, I am saying, when I say this, Navarro, when I hear people on the airwaves saying that Selby Brown is an old man who has not done much in football and is out of football. When I hear that, I say, what an excellent job Jack Warner did. Those who don't know of my direct involvement and what I have contributed to football in this country, I wish them well. But I am not the one who will go blowing my trumpet about that. Those who know must tell the others, and there are those who know. And I say to you, I am convinced, and this is why I want you, the delegates, to vote for me, as I've been making the round and telling you, that I have the knowledge, the experience, the vision, and the international resources to take Trinidad football to where it should have been, which I invested in back in 1975 to date. To take Trinidad football to the world level, to return it to CONCACAF based on our technical development, our transparency, our marketing, our putting in place everything necessary for the refocused Trinidad and Tobago Football Association on its major asset, which is the footballers. That's what I would say.
Selby Brown, new president of Trinidad and Tobago Football Association.
No, not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
Selby, I want to thank you so much.
49 delegates will decide.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much.
Yes.
Narada?
It's thank you, and it's the least I could do to offer what I know I can contribute.
Right. Narada, thank you so much as well for being here. I really appreciate you as well. Again, this is the Axe Television Network. You were watching Field of Dreams. We on every Monday night at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Always, we love you to tune in. Please don't forget, we have a Facebook page, and we also have an email, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com. Viewers, I want to thank you for allowing us into your homes tonight, and we see you next week. The show is ended. Go in peace. Thank you and good night.